Picture this, a family feud so outrageous that even the wildest reality TV producers would have rejected the script for being too unrealistic. But here we are. Lil Mendeecees, the kid who grew up in the shadows of his father's reputation, and his stepmom's so-called perfect image, just did the unthinkable. He slapped his dad. Yes, you heard that right. A literal father-son smackdown that sent the internet into meltdown mode. Twitter memes explosive. TikTok edits flooding your feed. The drama, straight out of a soap opera. But wait, was this just teenage rebellion? Boiling over, or a long-awaited explosion of years of resentment? And where does Yandy fit into this ticking time bomb? Because when she found out, reaction wasn't just a little teary, it was a full-blown meltdown that had fans questioning everything they thought they knew about this perfect family. Could this be the moment the Mendes brand finally collapses? Is this the scandal that exposes every hidden crack behind their carefully crafted facade? Grab your popcorn, because what I'm about to break down isn't just gossips, a disaster wrapped in family secrets. It's betrayal, and one very loud slap heard around the internet. Let's rewind, because you can't understand the slap heard around the internet without first unpacking the messy backstory that led to it. Lil Mendeecees isn't just some random kid lashing out at his father, no. This was years in the making. A slow-burn family feud marinated in resentment, betrayal, and a whole lot of bad decisions. His father, Mendeecees, has always had a reputation that screams controversy. From his brushes with the law to his questionable parenting style, the man's image has been anything but squeaky clean. Remember the prison stint? Yeah, the one that left Yandy holding down the entire household like she was auditioning for Supermom of the Year. While dad was behind bars, Lil Mendeecees had to grow up faster than most kids, stepping into adulthood with a chip on his shoulder the size of Harlem. And then there's Yandy, the woman the internet once labeled as the glue holding everything together. But let's be real. Was she holding it together out of love? Or was she just holding it together for the cameras? Every perfect Instagram family photo, every carefully worded caption, every staged red carpet appearance, it all fed into the illusion that this was a unit that had weathered the storm. But behind closed doors, sources whispered otherwise. Anonymous insiders claimed Lil Mendeecees felt more like a pawn in his parents' PR chess game than an actual son being loved and nurtured. Imagine growing up watching your life spun in two. A storyline for ratings while your real pain got swept under the rug. So when Mendeecees finally walked out of those prison gates, he expected to come home to respect, loyalty, and maybe even a warm welcome. Instead, he came back to a son who had grown tired of playing along with the happy family narrative. That's when the cracks really started to show. Father and son arguments became routine, with friends of the family describing it as World War III at the dinner table. Every little comment turned into a battlefield. Every fatherly critique sounded like a jab. And every attempt at authority only deepened the resentment that had been festering for years. The car ride that sparked this viral chaos wasn't just about attitude or disrespect, it was the tipping point. Lil Mendeecees had heard enough lectures, enough criticisms, enough attempts by his dad to step back into a role he had abandoned years before. According to one alleged witness, it was like watching a volcano erupt. You could see it in his eyes. He wasn't just angry, he was done. And done he was. That slap wasn't just a reaction. It was a statement, a declaration of independence, and a middle finger to the narrative his parents had tried to control for so long. But the slap was only the beginning. What followed was an explosion that not only shattered the Mendes family image but sent the internet into a frenzy unlike anything we've seen in years. And that's exactly where things get even messier. The slap might have been the spark, but what came next was the wildfire. Within hours, the story had left the car and exploded onto every corner of the internet. Twitter was flooded with hashtags like Father Son Smackdown and Mendes Meltdown. TikTok edits popped up with dramatic slow-motion replays. And YouTube commentary channels were already dissecting every frame of what they called the punchline herd around Harlem. And while the memes were hilarious, the reactions were brutal. Half the internet was dragging Lil Mendeecees for disrespecting his father, while the other half was cheering him on, saying he finally broke free from years of emotional neglect. This wasn't just a family fight anymore, it had turned into a national debate about respect, parenting, and generational trauma. Then came Yandy. Oh, Yandy. If you thought she was going to hold this family together, think again. According to sources close to the situation, when Yandy got the call, she didn't just cry, she collapsed, screaming, pacing, crying, then screaming again. One insider said it was like watching a soap opera live. She was torn between protecting her husband's pride and acknowledging her stepson's pain. But instead of playing mediator, she dropped the bombshell no one saw coming. She told Lil Mendeecees to leave the house. Yep, the same woman who had built her entire brand on being his protector suddenly drew the line. And just like that, the family tree split right down the middle. But Lil Mendeecees didn't just walk out quietly. Oh no, he took the fight online. Instagram stories filled with cryptic quotes. TikTok lives where he spilled half-truths and family secrets. Screenshots that allegedly exposed just how fake the perfect Mendeecees household really was. He accused his dad of playing a role only when it suited him, of being the absent father who suddenly wanted to wear the crown of authority. He accused Yandy of being a performer, someone more concerned with her public image than the kids she was raising. And whether those accusations were true or not didn't matter. The internet ate it up like popcorn at a midnight movie. Meanwhile, Mendeecees tried his hand at damage control. He gave an interview looking hurt, confused, and deeply disappointed. But the performance backfired. The audience wasn't buying the crocodile tears. The comment sections were brutal. Where were you when your kid needed you? You can't play dad now just because the cameras are rolling. Every attempt to reclaim his fatherly dignity only reminded people of the years he hadn't been there. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, it did. Erica, one of Mendeecees' exes and mother to another of his kids, jumped in to stir the pot. She echoed Lil Mendeecees' claims, saying she had been screaming the truth about him for years and no one listened. Suddenly, the scandal wasn't just about one slap, was about years of dysfunction finally spilling into the public eye. The Mendeecees brand wasn't just cracking, was collapsing in real time. If you thought the slap and the fallout were the peak of this circus, buckle up, because the internet wasn't done digging. And the skeletons started falling out of the closet faster than anyone could count. Leaked voicemails and text messages suddenly appeared online, painting a picture so messy even the most dramatic reality show editors would have said, "Nah, too much." In these alleged messages, Mendeecees sounded less like a concerned father and more like a PR manager trying to control a scandal. Lines about keeping the family image intact and not letting the boy ruin our brand were plastered across Reddit threads. Screenshots allegedly from Yandy herself revealed comments calling Lil Mendeecees not really her son and a responsibility she never asked for. If true, those words were the ultimate betrayal and fans weren't letting her off the hook. The response was nuclear. Suddenly, Yandy, once hailed as the unshakable stepmom, was trending with accusations of being a fraud. Think about it. Years of branding herself as the loving mother figure, the rock, the glue-on. Now she was being accused of playing a part for cameras and contracts. Twitter wasn't having it. Not Yandy being the villain all along became a meme, while TikTokers stitched old clips of her crying on TV, overlaying text like Oscar-worthy performance. Meanwhile, Mendeecees himself wasn't safe either. Anonymous family insiders started whispering about lavish spending sprees while he was supposed to be rebuilding trust, about money that mysteriously disappeared, about secret deals with producers to keep his image clean. Whether it was all true or not didn't matter. The narrative had shifted. The internet had decided the Mendes household was not just a family. It was a brand, and that brand was rotten to the core. And then Mama D entered the chat. You already know when the Queen of Shade speaks, the world listens. She dragged both Mendeecees and Yandy for filth, claiming she always knew they were playing a part. Calling the family dynamic reality TV with no reality. Kamala, Joel, Santana's wife doubled down, saying Yandy would throw anyone under the bus, even Lil Mendeecees, just to protect her image. With every new voice piling on, the story ballooned into something bigger than a slap, became a full-blown cultural moment. Lil Mendeecees, for his part, seemed unfazed. In one final live stream, he declared, "I know my truth, I know who really loves me, and I'll never fake it for anyone again." That statement silenced even the loudest critics, because whether you believed him or not, you couldn't deny he was speaking from a place of raw, unfiltered pain. Suddenly, he wasn't just the rebellious kid who slapped his dad, he was the whistleblower exposing the rot behind the perfect facade. And that's where the saga leaves us. A family divided, reputations shattered, and the internet demanding answers. Who's the real villain here? The absent father, the image-obsessed stepmom, or the son who refused to stay silent? The only thing certain is this: the Mendes family drama has turned into the biggest viral soap opera of the decade. And every day promises a new twist waiting to explode. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. Whose side are you really on in this messy saga? Hit that like button and subscribe, because trust me, the next twist is coming faster than you think. Turn on notifications so you never miss the truth bombs we'll be exposing next.